Sukhumi or Sokhumi, Abkhaz, Aqw Russian. Sukhum is a city in northwestern Georgia and the capital of Abkhazia, a disputed region on the Black Sea coast. The city suffered significant damage during the Georgian-Abkhazian conflict in the early 1990s. The present-day population of 60,000 is only half the one at the end of the USSR era. Naming: in Georgian, the city is known as or, in Megrelian as, and in Russian as or. The toponym Sokhumi derives from the Georgian word Sukhumi, meaning beach. It is significant that dia in several dialects of the Georgian language and among them in Megrelian means mother and skuri means water. In Abkhaz, the city is known as, which according to native tradition signifies water. In the ancient Greek sources the city is referred to as Dioscurias. According to the antique traditions, this name originates from the mythical Dioscuri, the twin brothers Castor and Pollux, sons of Zeus. It was believed that the town had been established by Castor's and Pollux's coachmen, the Argonauts Stelchius and Amphis. However, the names of the town may simply be the Greek comprehension of the Old Georgian word combination. The medieval Georgian sources knew the town as Sukhumi. Later, under the Ottoman control, the town was known in Turkish as Sukhum, which can be derived from the earlier Georgian form Sukhumi, or can be read to mean water sand fortress. Sukhumi in turn is supposed to be derived from the Svan language word for hot, or the Georgian word for hornbeam tree. The ending I in the above forms represents the Georgian nominative suffix. The town was initially officially described in Russian as, until the 16th of August 1936, when this was changed to. This remained so until the 4th of December 1992, when the Supreme Council of Abkhazia restored the original version, that was approved in Russia in autumn 2008, even though is also still being used. In English, the most common form today is Sukhumi, although Sokhumi is increasing in usage and has been adopted by sources including Encyclopedia Britannica, MSN and Carter Esri and Google Maps. General information: Sukhumi is located on a wide bay of the eastern coast of the Black Sea and serves as a port, rail junction and a holiday resort. It is known for its beaches, sanatoriums, mineral water spas and semi-tropical climate. Sukhumi is also an important air link for Abkhazia as the Sukhumi-Dranda airport is located nearby the city. Sukhumi contains a number of small to medium-size hotels serving chiefly the Russian tourists. Sukhumi Botanical Garden was established in 1840, one of the oldest botanical gardens in the Caucasus. The city has a number of research institutes, the Abkhazian State University and the Sukhum Open Institute. From 1945 to 1954, the city's electron physics laboratory was involved in the Soviet program to develop nuclear weapons. The city is a member of the International Black Sea Club. History: the history of the city began in the mid-6th century BC when an earlier settlement of the 2nd and early 1st millennia BC, frequented by local Colchian tribes, was replaced by the Milesian Greek colony of Dioscurias. The city is said to have been so named for the Dioscuri, the twins Castor and Pollux of classical mythology. It became busily engaged in the commerce between Greece and the indigenous tribes, importing wares from many parts of Greece, and exporting local salt and Caucasian timber, linen, and hemp. It was also a prime center of slave trade in Colchis. The city and its surroundings were remarkable for the multitude of languages spoken in its bazaars. Although the sea made serious inroads upon the territory of Dioscurias, it continued to flourish until its conquest by Mithridates VI, Eupator of Pontus in the later 2nd century. Under the Roman Emperor Augustus, the city assumed the name of Sebastopol, but its prosperity was past, and in the 1st century Pliny the Elder described the place as virtually deserted, though the town still continued to exist during the times of Arrian in the 130s. The remains of towers and walls of Sebastopolis have been found underwater on land. The lowest levels so far reached by archaeologists are of the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. In 542 the Romans evacuated the town and demolished its citadel to prevent it from being captured by Sassanid Iran. In 565, however, the Emperor Justinian I restored the fort, and Sebastopolis continued to remain one of the Byzantine strongholds in Colchis until being sacked by the Arab conqueror Marwan II in 736. Afterwards, the town came to be known as Sukhumi, restored by the kings of Abkhazia from the Arab devastation. It particularly flourished during the Georgian Golden Age in the 12th–13th centuries, when Sukhumi became a center of traffic with the European maritime powers, particularly with the Republic of Genoa. The Genoese established the short-lived trading factory at Sukhumi early in the 14th century. The Ottoman Navy occupied the town in 1451, but for a short time. Later contested between the princes of Abkhazia and Mingrelia, Sukhumi finally fell to the Turks in the 1570s. The new masters heavily fortified the town and called it Sokhum Kala, with kale meaning fort, but the first part of the name of disputed origin. It may represent Turkish su, water, and kum, sand, but is more likely to be an alteration of its earlier Georgian name. At the request of the pro-Russian Abkhazian prince, the town was stormed by the Russian Marines in 1810 and turned, subsequently, into a major outpost in the northwest Caucasus. Sukhumi was declared the seaport in 1847 and was directly annexed to the Russian Empire after the ruling Shah Vashid's princely dynasty was ousted by the Russian authorities in 1864. During the Russo-Turkish War, 1877–1878, the town was temporarily controlled by the Ottoman forces and Abkhaz-a rebels. Following the Russian Revolution of 1917, the town and Abkhazia in general were engulfed in the chaos of the Russian Civil War. A short-lived Bolshevik government was suppressed in May 1918 and Sukhum was incorporated into the Democratic Republic of Georgia as a residence of the Autonomous People's Council of Abkhazia and the headquarters of the Georgian Governor-General. A Red Army and the local revolutionaries took the city from the Georgian forces on 4 March 1921, and declared Soviet rule. Sukhum functioned as the capital of the Union Treaty. Abkhaz Soviet Socialist Republic associated with the Georgian SSR from 1921 until 1931, when it became the capital of the Abkhazian Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic within the Georgian SSR. By 1989, Sukhum had 110,000 inhabitants and was one of the most prosperous cities of Georgia. Many holiday dachas for Soviet leaders were situated there. Beginning with the 1989 riots, Sukhum was a center of the Georgian-Abkhaz conflict, and the city was severely damaged during the 1992–1993 war. During the Georgian-Abkhaz War, the city and its environs suffered almost daily airstrikes and artillery shellings, with heavy civilian casualties. On the 27th of September 1993, the battle for Sukhum was concluded by a full-scale campaign of ethnic cleansing against its majority Georgian population, including members of the Abkhazian government and mayor of Sukhum Guram Gabaskiria. Although the city has been relatively peaceful and partially rebuilt, it is still suffering the after-effects of the war, and it has not regained its earlier ethnic diversity. Its population in 2003 was 43,716, compared to about 120,000 in 1989. Population. Demographics. Historic population figures for Sukhumi, split out by ethnicity, based on population censuses. Religion. Ancient Sebastopolis was a Latin bishopric, but the diocese ceased to exist with the advent of Orthodoxy. Titular see. The Diocese of Sebastopolis in Abkhazia was nominally restored as a Catholic Latin. It has had the following incumbents but is now vacant: Celestino Annibal Catania, Capuchin Franciscans; Henry Edward Aҟwa, Luigi Cosio, Giuseppe Porpini, later Cardinal. Main sites. Sukhumi houses a number of historical monuments, notably the Beslit arcaded bridge built during the reign of Queen Tamar of Georgia in the 12th century. It also retains visible vestiges of the defunct monuments, including the Roman walls, the 11th century castle of Bagrat III, several towers of the Great Abkhazian Wall constructed by the early modern Mingrelian and Abkhazian princes amid the territorial disputes, the 14th century Genoese fort and the 18th century Ottoman fortress. The 11th century command church from Sukhumi is erected, according to tradition, over the tomb of St. John Chrysostom. Some 22 kilometers from Sukhumi lies New Athos with the ruins of the medieval city of Anacopia. The Neo-Byzantine New Athos monastery was constructed here in the 1880s on behest of Tsar Alexander III of Russia. Northward in the mountains is the Voronya Cave, the deepest in the world, with a depth of 2,140 meters. Climate. Sukhumi has a humid subtropical climate that is almost cool enough in summer to be an oceanic climate. Administration. On the 2nd of February 2000, President Zinbar dismissed temporary Mayor Leonid Ozia and appointed Leonid Lolua in his stead. Lolua was reappointed on the 10th of May 2001 following the March 2001 local elections. On the 5th of November 2004, in the heated aftermath of the 2004 presidential election, President Vladislav Zinbar appointed head of the Gulripsh District Assembly Adgur Karazia as acting mayor. During his first speech he called upon the two leading candidates, Sergei Bagapsh and Rasul Kajimba, to both withdraw. On the 16th of February 2005, after his election as president, Bagapsh replaced Karazia with Astamur Adliba, who had been Minister for Youth, Sports, Resorts and Tourism until December 2004. In the 11th of February 2007 local elections, Adliba successfully defended his seat in the Sukhumi City Assembly and was thereupon reappointed mayor by Bagapsh on the 20th of March. In April 2007, while President Bagapsh was in Moscow for medical treatment, the results of an investigation into corruption within the Sukhumi city administration were made public. The investigation found that large sums had been embezzled, and upon his return, on the 2nd of May, Bagapsh fired Adliba along with his deputy Boris Aqwa, the head of the Sukhumi's finance department Konstantin Tushba, and the head of the housing department David Ginjolia. On the 4th of June, Adliba paid back to the municipal budget 200,000 rubles, and on the 23rd of July, he resigned from the Sukhumi City Council, citing health reasons and the need to travel abroad for medical treatment. On the 15th of May 2007, President Bagapsh released alias Labakwa as first deputy chairman of the State Customs Committee and appointed him acting mayor of Sukhumi, a post temporarily fulfilled by former vice mayor Anzor Korcha. On the 27th of May, Labakwa appointed Vadim Cherkezia as Deputy Chief of Staff. On the 2nd of September, Labakwa won the by-election in constituency No. 21, which had become necessary after Adliba relinquished his seat. Adliba was the only candidate and voter turnout was 34% higher than the 25% required. Since Adliba was now a member of the city assembly, President Bagapsh could permanently appoint him mayor of Sukhumi on the 18th of September, following the May 2014 revolution and the election of Rasul Kajumbar as president. He on the 22nd of October dismissed Labikwa and again appointed Adgur Karazia, who at that point was vice speaker of the People's Assembly. Karazia won the 4th of April 2015 by-election to the City Council in Constituency No. 3 unopposed, and was confirmed as mayor by Kajumbar on the 4th of May. List of mayors. Transport. The city is served by several trolley bus and bus routes. Sukhumi is connected to other Abkhazian towns by bus routes. There is a railway station in Sukhumi that has a daily train to Moscow via Sochi. The Bushara airport now handles only local flights due to the disputed status of Abkhazia. International relations. Twin towns. Sister cities. Sukhumi is twinned with the following cities: Ufa, Russia; Krasnodar, Russia; Tiraspol, Transnistria; Cherkassk, Russia; Podolsk, Russia; Volgograd, Russia; Grozny, Russia; Stepanakert, Nagorno-Karabakh Republic; Archangelsk, Russia; Nizhny Novgorod, Russia; Santi Antioco, Italy; Side, Turkey.